You know, there's something I hear from friends and viewers all the time. Little comments like, "I just don't feel as sharp as I used to," or "Why does it take me so long to remember names these days?" And if you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Our brains change as we get older. That's just a fact of life. But here's the good news. Not all of those changes are inevitable. In fact, some of them might be happening because of simple everyday habits we don't even realize are working against us. That's why today, we're talking about 5 surprising daily habits that speed up brain aging. And one of them, habit number 3, is something you'll want to stop doing as soon as possible. Now, I'm not here to scare you or make you feel like you've been doing everything wrong. Think of this as a friendly chat, the kind where we sit down over a cup of coffee and swap stories about what works and what doesn't. Because when you know better, you can do better. And small changes can make a big difference in keeping your mind sharp and vibrant for years to come. So, let's start with the first habit, skipping breakfast or eating the wrong foods in the morning. Now, I know some people swear by skipping breakfast. Maybe you've heard it's good for weight loss or digestion. But here's the thing. Your brain runs on fuel, just like a car. And if you don't give it the right kind of fuel first thing in the morning, it's going to sputter and struggle. Studies have shown that people who skip breakfast or reach for sugary cereals, pastries, or white toast often experience slower mental processing and even mood swings later in the day. Instead, try this. A breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Maybe some eggs with avocado or oatmeal topped with nuts and berries. It doesn't have to be complicated, just something to give your brain the steady energy it needs. You'll be amazed at how much clearer and more focused you feel. Now, the second habit is one you might not expect, staying indoors too much. And I get it. Sometimes it's just easier to stay home, especially if the weather's not great or you're not as mobile as you used to be. But here's the problem. Sunlight isn't just about vitamin D, though that's important too. Natural light helps regulate your sleep cycle, boosts serotonin, that's your feel-good hormone, and even improves cognitive function. Plus, getting outside often means moving your body, even if it's just a short walk around the block. If going outside feels tough, start small. Open the curtains wide in the morning. Sit by a sunny window with your morning coffee. And when you can, take a few minutes to step outside, breathe in the fresh air, and let the sunlight work its magic. Your brain will thank you for it. Now, before we move on to the next habit, I want you to think about your mornings. Are you fueling your brain the right way? Are you giving yourself even just a few minutes in the sunshine? Because these little things add up, and the best part is, they're easy to change. Speaking of changes, let's talk about habit number 3, the one I mentioned you'll want to stop doing right away. But we'll get into that in just a moment. Now, let's talk about that third habit, the one I said you should stop doing as soon as possible. This one might surprise you, but it's something many of us do without even thinking. Scrolling through your phone or watching TV right before bed. You see, our brains need time to unwind and prepare for sleep, just like our bodies do. But when we're glued to our screens late at night, whether it's checking emails, watching the news, or even just mindlessly scrolling, we're flooding our brains with artificial light and stimulation. That blue light from screens tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, which messes with your natural sleep hormones. And poor sleep doesn't just leave you groggy the next day. It's been linked to memory problems, slower thinking, and even a higher risk of dementia over time. So, what can you do instead? Try setting a screen curfew about an hour before bedtime. Instead of watching TV, maybe listen to some soft music or an audiobook. If you enjoy reading, pick up a physical book. It's much gentler on your eyes and your brain. And if you absolutely must check your phone, see if it has a night mode that reduces blue light. Small changes like this can lead to deeper, more restful sleep and a sharper mind when you wake up. Now, let's move on to habit number 4. Eating too much processed and sugary food. I know. Sometimes a sweet treat or a quick frozen meal is just easier. But here's the hard truth. Sugar and processed foods don't just affect your waistline. They cause inflammation in the body, and that includes your brain. Research has shown that diets high in sugar and processed foods can actually shrink the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. But don't worry. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy dessert again. It's about balance. Try swapping out some of those packaged snacks for whole foods, fresh fruit, a handful of nuts, or even a piece of dark chocolate. And when you do eat something processed, pay attention to how you feel afterward. You might notice that heavy, foggy feeling that makes it harder to think clearly. Your brain thrives on real, nourishing food, so the more you can give it what it needs, the better it will serve you. And finally, let's talk about habit number 5. Not keeping your mind active and engaged. Now, this doesn't mean you need to start doing crossword puzzles every day, if that's not your thing. But our brains are like muscles. If we don't use them, they weaken over time. The good news? Using your brain can be as simple as having a lively conversation with a friend, trying a new recipe, or even taking a different route on your daily walk. Novelty and challenge are what keep your brain growing and adapting, no matter your age. So think about something you've always wanted to try. Maybe learning a few words of a new language, picking up a hobby like painting or gardening, or even just playing cards with friends. The key is to keep it fun. If it feels like a chore, you won't stick with it. But if you find something that brings you joy and gives your brain a little workout, that's the sweet spot. Now, we've covered a lot. From screen time before bed, to the foods we eat, and the ways we challenge our minds. But there's one more important piece to this puzzle, and it's something that ties all these habits together. So let's take a closer look at how these small changes can add up to a big difference in keeping your brain young and vibrant. You know, when we talk about habits that speed up brain aging, it's easy to feel a little overwhelmed. After all, these are things we do every single day, often without even thinking about them. But here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to change everything at once. In fact, trying to overhaul your entire routine overnight is a surefire way to feel frustrated. Instead, think of this as an opportunity to make small, meaningful tweaks that add up over time. Take that third habit we discussed, scrolling before bed. Maybe tonight, instead of reaching for your phone, you'll try leaving it on the charger across the room and pick up that book you've been meaning to finish. Or tomorrow morning, you might swap out that sugary cereal for a bowl of oatmeal with walnuts and cinnamon. These aren't drastic changes, but they're powerful ones. Because when you start treating your brain with the same care you'd give a cherished old car, keeping it well-fueled, well-rested, and well-tuned, you're setting yourself up for years of clearer thinking and better memories. And let's not forget the most important piece of all: staying connected. You might have noticed that nearly every habit we've talked about ties back to engagement with your environment, with your body, and especially with other people. Loneliness and isolation can be just as damaging to your brain as any unhealthy food or poor sleep habit. So, if there's one extra habit I'd encourage you to cultivate, it's this. Reach out. Call an old friend. Join a community group. Even chatting with your neighbor or the cashier at the grocery store counts. Every conversation, every laugh, every shared moment is like a little boost for your brain. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits resonated most? Maybe you've already noticed that skipping breakfast leaves you foggy, or that your sleep improves when you put the phone away early. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips on living your best life at any age. Because here's the truth. Getting older doesn't have to mean slowing down. Not in your body, and certainly not in your mind. It's never too late to make a change, and it's always the right time to invest in yourself. So here's to waking up feeling refreshed, to meals that fuel your brilliance, and to a life full of curiosity and connection. After all, the best years for your brain? Those could still be ahead of you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.